Hey guys, so I told you I would give you an update on I think I just said it was an emergency vet visit. The reason why I canceled the live. So, I guess I might have mentioned to you guys before that my next door neighbor has or had two pit bulls in enclosure, some type of kennel enclosure in their backyard, and a little terrier that was just tied off to that enclosure on the outside and had a little doghouse. And I think I might have also mentioned that when I got Bama, 2 days after I got him, there was a bite incident with some workers. I came home from the store buying stuff for him, and I walked, one of them was a lead for him, that I've used that lead for 4 of my dogs, 2 of them being pit bulls. So I knew what length to get, so I wasn't with any of the perimeters of my neighbors' properties. So it was really the first time I was able to let him out on a lead without having to walk him outside my huge backyard with a leash and have a dog in each hand on a leash. That's ridiculous. So I had come back from the store. I grabbed the lead, let Jackson out like I always do. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't need the yard. My yard is 3/4 of the way fenced in, by the way. There's just a small part that's not fenced in by my carriage house. So I had put him on his lead and I let Jackson out. I was out there with them, and I noticed that my neighbors had cut down 3 trees on my property without my permission. And so the person who had cut down the trees was standing there with his girlfriend on my property, but on the other side of the trees. And I had walked over just to talk to them and ask them what the hell was going on. And when that was happening, Bama was standing right next to me, and she had reached over the trees and over the top of his head to pat him without asking me, and definitely without asking him, because that is not the way to approach a strange dog that you don't know. And he bit her. Nothing serious. It was like 2 puncture wounds, but they took it way overboard. They called an ambulance. They called the state police. Of which I stayed, and when it was just a long story we don't need to get into it. At any rate, you know, I called dog control myself. I called the SPCA because that's where I'd gotten him from. I called all the right people ahead of them, found out that they called them after I did, basically trying to stir up a lawsuit that just never happened because they were in the wrong. They were on my property. My dog was on his property. Also, he was tethered on his property, which he didn't need to be, but he was. And, you know, they really didn't have a case. But ever since that happened, my neighbors who, I mean, our kids grew up together and played together. They were the same age. We've shared Christmases together, like friends. We were friends. And now all of a sudden, no, they don't want to have anything to do with me. I'm like evil. They don't want to talk. They don't talk to me. Nothing. Well, since this incident has happened, they've also gotten 3 more dogs. And 2 of them are tethered to my fence on their side. And they didn't have any food, no water, no shelter. They're just tethered out there. These 2 other dogs. One's a shepherd mix and the other one looks like a pit mix. couple days ago, I was sitting here and a police officer showed up at my door, and and once I got to the door, I'm like, is this a welfare check or something? And he's like, no, I got the wrong house. He's like, it's actually an animal complaint. And I was like, oh, yeah, you want next door. It's not me. But I said, but we have history, so I'm just warning you about that right now, so please don't let them think that it came from me. He goes, I understand. I'll let them know it was the wrong house. But I let him know my concerns about, you know, leaving the dogs out without shelter, water, because you can't do that. And, you know, and the fact that several of their dogs keep getting loose. They don't have them tethered properly or whatever. However, they don't have them housed properly because the dogs keep getting loose. And one of them, they just let out loose all the time. So anyway, yesterday afternoon, I took my dogs out into my yard so they could do their business, enjoy some of this. It was a beautiful day too. And I have a huge backyard. I have 1/3 of an acre of land. And so they like to run around and get their exercise and play and do whatever, you know. And out of nowhere comes around the corner into my backyard are the 2 dogs that they have tethered up. They escaped like they always do. And they went and started attacking Jackson. Now, Jackson can defend himself, but he can't defend himself against 2 dogs 3 times his size. But as soon as Bama saw that Jackson was being attacked by these 2 dogs, he charged those 2 dogs to defend his brother. And it's not like they've even known, I mean, it's only been a couple months that I've owned Bama, but he's like, that's my family. You don't fuck with family, you know? And he charged those 2 dogs and started taking the beating that was for Jackson. And I scooped up Jackson. I scooped up Jackson and I just ran up the back steps and just plopped him in the mudroom, slammed the door, and then went out back to help Bama because Bama's then fighting 2 fucking dogs by himself. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs for the neighbors. Come get your fucking dogs. Just come get your fucking dogs. And I grab my hose and I turn on the hose and I just start spraying them. And finally the owner comes out of the house. Break up the dog fight. But the damage has been done, you know. I had to rush both my dogs to the vet. Now, it's as if Jackson hasn't been through enough this year with his foot and then getting hit by the car. It's just, he's such a trooper. I mean, beagles are so resilient, you know. Thank God they're fighters, just like pit bulls and any of the bully breeds, you know. Thank God. Otherwise, I don't think either one of my dogs would have survived that. And they both had to stay overnight for observation. Well, fuck, Bama had to, like, be put under and have surgery to take care of some of his wounds. And Jackson was able to come home, like, after one night, but Bama wasn't able to come home until today. I mean, tomorrow. I'm sorry. He's not. I can't even fucking think. I don't even know what day it is. Because they said pick him up on Saturday or we'll just keep him for the weekend. And you can get him on Monday. But poor Jackson is just... all he's doing is laying here all doped up on his fucking pain meds. All told, Jackson ended up with 57 stitches. One of his ears is like half torn off. Scars. "38 separate dog bites from those dogs. 2 dogs just attacking a defenseless dog. Jackson is probably the last dog in the world you would want to just attack because he's so scared of everything anyway. He always has been. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to edit this because I'm doing this on my phone because I want to be where he is, so I'm not at my computer doing this, so please forgive me if this is just a crazy ass stupid video, you know. But now you know. So it's not going to be a live today either. Maybe, I think Saturday. We'll do our regular Saturday morning live. By that time I'll hear more about what's going on with Bama. He saved his brother's life. I fully believe that because Jackson would have died had those dogs kept on. I can't. But anyway, that's what happened, guys, and you know, it's not, the story hasn't come to a conclusion yet, so I can't say too much more about it. But if you have animals, you know, they're your life, they're your family, you know. Anyway, I promised you an update, and that's the update right now. Now you guys know what happened, so I'll see you guys soon.